neat little treat that a lot of people don't actually know about Numeron. I will be sending Ints to the graveyard. Now with Ints in the graveyard, I will be popping Numeron Network and allowing my opponent to continue their turn. Let's see how they play it out. Does our opponent read their own cards? Yes, they do, because Numerons have to detach a material in order for their effect to go up, unless Numeron Network is on the field. Easy as that. The Holy Dogmatic Order, led by none other than Dogmatika Maximus. Hello, YouTube, Rojas here, and this is going to be a deck profile for pure Dogmatika. Now, besides having some of the best artwork in the game, delving full into the religious dogma theme, and showing it even in its playstyle by absolutely barring all use of extra deck, this deck is a ton of fun, and it is very much a meta buster. Now, there's positives and negatives with this. This deck is a lot more likely to win against decks like Drytron and Tri-Brigade than it is to beat a deck like Zombie World Doom King Baldarok Turbo, just simply by the nature of the deck. It has a lot of tools like Summon Limit, Maxi, Nibiru, Infinite Impermanence, and Effect Failure to hit these very strong meta strategies, and you can always again tweak the hand traps to deal with what you're facing more, but it will struggle against a lot of the off-meta cards that people might include in their deck, so it's a bit of a win-loss kind of situation. But the deck is very powerful, and I will vouch for that. If you take the time to play it slow and actually learn how to play the deck, this deck can take a lot of winnings, but simply due to the nature of the deck being more of a counter strategy than its own strong strategy is why you'll never see this deck go above and beyond and perform really well in tournaments and things like that. Anyways, hopefully you guys do enjoy the deck profile. I will say I got a new microphone, so hopefully my audio quality is a bit better. I still need to tweak with it because I know that it's still a little bit messed up, but this is going to be like the new standard for my audio because I know the audio in my old videos is absolute garbonzo beans. And hilariously enough, if I'm going to do this YouTube thing semi-often, then having decent audio is probably kind of important, huh? Who would have thought? Yeah, not me, clearly. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Seriously, please let me know what you think of the new audio, because I can still return this mic if it sounds poorly. And again, I still do need to do some tweaking, but let me know if it sounds better than my old audio, so I know what to fix and what to make a more enjoyable experience for everybody who stuck around and watched. And I just want to say that if you're watching this video right now, be it a returning viewer or a new viewer, it means a lot to me, and thank you for checking out this video. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and quit the babbling and get to the card by card. Timestamps down below if you want to check something out in specific. Alright, let's hop into the card by card. So we're running the side frame driver package with the 2 copies of Gamma because this is just an insanely powerful hand trap. This hand trap is very convenient for just shutting down your opponent's turn entirely. This is, if there's a hand trap that's just going to completely stop your opponent all by itself, it's going to be Gamma. Not only that, but we already run the Omega in the deck for other reasons, so this is just a nice added bonus for a win more option if we're able to resolve it, since a lot of our effects resolve without a card actually hitting the field. Then 2 copies of Effect Failure. Effect Failure is an insanely generic and good hand trap. Not only that, it is a negation effect, which will be discussed later when I talk about the Iris Swordsoul, and it's the reason why we run so many negation effects. 3 copies of Maxi. Not only is this the best card in Master Duel right now, Maxi is just insanely generic, insanely good. Every deck should be running it at 3, especially if you're running a very heavy control deck like this. Maxi is just absolutely invaluable. The 2 Gammas for the driver I already mentioned. 3 copies of Ash Blossom, second best hand trap in the game. This card is insanely powerful and insanely generic as well, and this will single-handedly shut down most rogue decks by itself. 3 copies of Ecclesia. She is the second best engine in the deck, but sadly Nadir Servant is limited, so she's going to come up a lot more often, allowing you to search your deck for whatever you may need, and providing a very powerful body because this card can't actually be destroyed in combat by a monster summon from the extra deck. And while that effect might not be very relevant when you see this card a lot summoned by decks like Alistair, it is extremely valuable in a heavy control deck like this. So Fleur-de-Lis. Fleur-de-Lis is one of those cards that I always bump up to 2 and then bump back down to 1. She's very, very powerful in this deck, and it's very nice that she's searchable, but sometimes she gets bricky at 2, but then at 1 you do end up missing a second copy, so that's really on you to decide. I think she's better at 1 for now with a version of this deck that I'm currently on. Fleur-de-Lis is a nice monster negation. Not only that, she offers a very serious attack buff for your monsters, which is very relevant when you're playing pure Dogmatika. Then the 3 copies of Maximus. Maximus is a little more difficult to use because you do need a extra deck monster in the graveyard, but once this card goes off, it goes off strong. Since you're gaining benefit from every single card you send to the graveyard with this deck, it's going to be an extremely consistent and powerful effect. Not only that, picking apart at your opponent's extra deck is actually very, very annoying and tedious for your opponent most of the times. Then we run 3 copies copies of the Iris Sword Soul, new card from the newest set, and man is this card cool. Besides Iris Sword Soul being a complete dime piece, I apologize for being down bad like always, she is actually Fleur-de-Lis, which not a lot of people realize, and so a lot of people think Fleur-de-Lis is a dude, but yeah, this is the exact same person. Iris Sword Soul is a nice and serious body to get on the field with 2500 attack and defense. Not only that, she's gonna punish your opponent for special summoning from anywhere but the graveyard, allowing you to draw cards, special summon, or destroy your opponent's special summon monsters. Then we're running 2 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru, again, just an insanely powerful hand trap, especially synergizing with Maxi, and is a very easy way to ruin your opponent's day. 1 copy of Dogmatika Nexus. Now, this is by no means the most powerful Dogmatika card, but being searchable makes it a lot better. This card is a very serious body, again, to get on the field, and playing a control deck like this, being able to easily access this is really strong. Not only that, it lets you banish 4 extra deck monsters from your opponent's graveyard. Letting you banish extra deck monster from your opponent's graveyard is also very nice because it literally removes that resource from your opponent's graveyard. And if that isn't enough, to top it all off, when this card battles, it has a Raigeki effect on all your opponent's attack position monsters, so just a nice way to clear the field if its massive attack staff wasn't enough for you. Then we're running 2 copies of Pot of Duality with 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Again, we're not special summoning from the extra deck very often, and we're not so these cards are just a nice way to access Pot of Greed-esque cards. Now, I'm running it at 2 and 2 just so we don't brick by drawing into multiple copies of them, and since this essentially just substitutes as 4 copies of an Extravagance that you won't brick on. Then we're running the 1 copy of Nadir Servant. This is the best card in the deck. It sucks that this card is limited at 1. I really feel like if they want to hit these Alistair-esque engines, they shouldn't go after the Dogmatika cards, but sadly, it is what it is. This allows you to full combo during your first turn, even though you're not really a combo deck. Sending a card to the graveyard, just be careful. You typically don't want to send the Titaniclad first because you will be banishing whatever it is to summon the Maximus and then sending cards to the graveyard. Then you're gonna have 2 copies of Called by the Grave. This is less to stop your opponent from hand trapping you and more for the insanely powerful banish and negate effect. This card hits card decks like Eldlich, Sky Striker, Tri-Brigade, and Numeron. It's just insanely strong removal tool and very good in a control deck. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, not a once per turn, and a very good hand trap that synergizes once again with the Iris Sword Soul. 3 copies of Dogmatika Punishment. This card is so good, it's run in a plethora of other decks, and it has the added benefit of being a Dogmatika card, so it synergizes with the actual engine. Then we're running 2 copies of Summon Limit. Summon Limit is really good. Just be sure to not like monkey flip this card immediately. You really want to wait for your opponent to commit to a dumb play, and then you flip the Summon Limit and you lock them into a very awkward board state, not giving them the chance to play around it. This is an insanely powerful card, and again, at most we summon about 3 times in 1 turn, so this really isn't going to hit us at all. Then we run 1 copy of Shadow Schism. This is just the 3rd copy of Summon Limit, but it is searchable, and it's why the reason why I'm opting to run it at 1, even though it has a bit of anti-synergy with the deck. Then for the extra deck, we have 3 copies of Uns. I'm pretty sure everyone should be familiar with Uns at this point. She is just an extra pop off of Dogmatika Punishment, allowing you to destroy 2 cards. Then we're running the Winda and the Apkalone. You send the Apkalone to the graveyard in order to search the Schism, and then you're going to use the Apkalone and the Ash Dragon in order to fusion summon the Winda, which is going to be easy access to a Floodgate. Then we run 1 copy of Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. This is literally just Uns, but you have to activate it, so it's only usable on your turn in case you need to pop 2 things in 1 turn. 3 copies of Titaniclad. This just special summons or searches out any Dogmatic monster from your deck. Be careful, special summoning is not always the best option, but this is an insanely powerful card, and it's in the new pack, which is an added bonus. Then we're running 3 copies of Wind Pegasus ad Ignister. This is again just another Uns effect, but this time it's a spin effect, except this one is more reactive. Then it's going to be 1 copy of Time Frame Lord Omega. This is just run generically in the deck because it's really good to be able to put back resources into our extra deck when playing this slow control strategy. Not only that, we do run the Gamma, so it just has that added benefit. Then we're running Secure Gardna and Almirage. If you happen to draw a hand trap, you can go ahead and just link it off into the Almirage and then link that off into the Gardna to immediately activate a Maximus, so you can decide if you think it is worth it to send the 2 extra deck cards over having the hand trap in hand. Then the 1 copy of Frigid. This is just graveyard fodder, so you could mulligan a card for free, and it's a really good hit off of Nadir Servant. Then the 1 copy of Canberra Roaster. I don't know how to pronounce this card, and I refuse to read its name, but it's just really nice back row protection, especially considering we run this much of the purple card. And that is the card by card. Enough of my babbling. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what this deck can actually do. So winning the coin flip, I'm gonna elect to go first because of course ain't nothing special. Most decks like going first. I am a bit on the fence if this deck really wants to go second. And ooh, Nadir Servant. You love to see it. It looks like my opponent has Maxi. I'm honestly not even sure if I want to hit the Maxi. Hitting the Ash would be more valuable, actually. Alright, let's see what you got. So, typically, this isn't worth it. I can stop the Maxi. I'm actually fully okay with the Maxi resolving, because at the end of the day, they're only going to get one card off of it, and I really just do not care if my opponent gets a single card. Like, that's not a big deal in the slightest. So I'm actually going to go ahead and send Fleur-de-Lis here. The reason why I'm sending the Fleur-de-Lis is because I'm going to be using her effect immediately, and I'm just going to be banishing this card. So I'd rather send the cards I need in the graveyard, like Apkallone and Titaniclad, off of the Maximus, which I have available to me. I don't really need Nexus, to be honest, so it looks like that's going to be the least valuable card that I am going to be putting back. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring out Ecclesia, seeing how my opponent responds to this. It looks like I'm going to be searching myself out a Punishment. Searching out the Fleur-de-Lis in the end phase because Punishment is more valuable right now. Then I'm going to go ahead and special summon Maximus, giving my opponent that value they wanted off of Maxi, but a 1-for-1 trade is essentially an Upstart Goblin, and I'm not going to be crying over my opponent getting an Upstart Goblin. Maybe I should have played around a Relinquished Anima, but that's fine. At the end of the day, we don't play around anything. So here is where I'm actually going to go ahead and send the Titaniclad along with sending the Apkallone. Now my opponent's going to send a couple cards too. Apkallone effect, of course, is going to go off, which is going to get me a little bit of a search, grabbing me that Shadow Schism. So I definitely feel like Infinite Impermanence is going to be the least valuable card against Numeron. So I will be getting rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and set my copy of Impermanence, my copy of Dogmatika Punishment, and my copy of Schism, all of which are live. And again, getting rid of the Impermanence, because I'm just going to go ahead and grab it right back by grabbing a copy of Fleur-de-Lis, not special summoning it because I'm trying to negate with it. And alright, your move, opponent. Let's see what you do. Fleur-de-Lis isn't the best card against a deck like this, but it's going to let us end games. Prosperity. Alright. Opponent's extra deck is looking a little light with only 4 cards left, meaning the only thing left is all the Numerons. So let's see what our opponent's going to be searching out. Ooh, looks like they're going to be grabbing the Kaiju here. Oh, it's Necroface OTK! Was not expecting that, if I'm going to be completely honest. Okay, they're going to be grabbing the Numeron wall, looks like. Really wish I would have kept the Call by the Grave instead of the Infinite Impermanence, but it's fine. So there is a neat little trick here that we could do to stop Numeron that I don't think our opponent's going to be exactly too fond of. Winning the coin flip, getting to go first, our opponent might as well concede because they don't stand a single shot at winning this match. It's that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and open with the Extravagance. Sadly, no Gamma or Called by the Grave, but again, it doesn't matter. This is still full engine here. Let's see what I banished. Is our opponent going to Ash Blossom this? Because you typically never want to Ash Blossom this early. Okay, so this is actually going to find us our Ecclesia. You love to see it. We already have Punishment, so we're going to go ahead and just straight up search the, Oh, that's cute! Our opponent's going to Maxi! Aww! Cool, dope Maxi, man. That is... Whoo! You got me there! Oh, no! Man, how am I going to play around that Max... Oh, what? You just went -1 for no reason? For real? Man, that's rough, buddy. So I'm gonna choose to play conservative and not play into the Lightning Storm here by only setting 2 back row. If 2 back row gets hit, it still sucks, but it's not the end of the world. If I have more of my back row hit, I'm just gonna straight up lose. Miscellaneous Saurus. So here's a really fun part about Dinos. Dinos can neither play through Droll and Lockbird, nor can they play through Summon Limit. Isn't that fun? And this is also why I'm going to wait to use the Summon Limit. Because if I flip the Summon Limit immediately, my opponent knows, okay, I need to go into Conductor, like, first play. But now, my opponent needs to... Yes. But now my opponent's already committed 1 summon. Now, as a Dino player, there's a really... Oh my god, popping the Mist. You hate to see it. There's a really good chance that my opponent is going to go ahead and link off into Linkuriboh here. I'm not even going to use the Droll this turn because I know Summon Limit single-handedly going to stop their turn. So they're going to make Linkuriboh. And this is what I mean about be real patient with your cards, because my opponent's going to straight concede as soon as I do this. Okay, now, Linkuriboh hits the field. Guess what? That's your second special summon. Summon limit. Alright, concede. Bye-bye. Shoo. Come on. You know you want to hit me with it. Play through it, dog. Where's your double evolution pill? What, that's it? That's all you gonna do, dog? I mean, alright. I guess I might as well punishment during the end phase. Why are you maxi? My opponent just... I'm telling you, people will just minus against this deck. You are always gonna have, like, the advantage in control. Don't mind me. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and send the Furgit here just to dig through my deck a little bit. And again, this is all about versatility. I would have liked to send the Titaniclad, but... Wow, you are just... Okay. My opponent just does not want to have cards in hand at the end of the turn. Alright, sure. Hey, guess who's not special summoning this turn anyways? Let's go ahead and dig a little. Feel free to. You know what? Treat yourself to another Ash Blossom. So, even though I can't special summon, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Maximus just to set up for a future turn. And just like that, I'm gonna go ahead and set my punishment. You never want to do that in main phase 1, but it doesn't really matter. They have another hand trap in hand. Oh my god, the poor thing. And this deck just is so good against hand traps too. That's another thing. What I mean about it really being this like meta destructive force, like the hand traps don't affect it like basically at all. And you're just gonna like whittle down your opponent. Like if this game had voice chat, I guarantee you they would have thrown about every single cuss word in the book at me right now already. Yeah, okay, so Conductor, big, bad, scary, right? It's gonna be really awkward when I punishment their Conductor because they already went through 2 miscellaneous Oruses. I am gonna actually wait until the battle phase though, just so they can't, though we don't have the 3rd miscellaneous Orus by any chance. Alright, so now that we're in the battle phase, again, this deck all about playing it, taking it nice and slow. Let's see if our opponent slams the concede button right after this. Nice Conductor, bro. Oh, you love to see it, man. Oh man, this is a deck for villains, dog. This is a deck for villains. They can't play. This is like pure villain behavior. No cap. So now I'm gonna go ahead and bring out Maximus. Banishing the Furgit, because she's really not doing much for me. So this is one of the downsides to the fact that I do run... Again, the extra deck's extremely important in this list, and I did run a budget variant with cards like 5-Headed Dragon because it's high attack just for this video. But having a second Titaniclad in the deck would have been extremely, extremely relevant in this. What do you have? Show me what you got, dog. So I'm actually going to go ahead and send the Omega... And then I could either send the Apgalone to thin my deck a little, or I could send the Wind Pegasus just for a bit of added protection, and I think I'm going to take the protection, because you always use protection, kids. Hopefully our opponent didn't like their extra deck too much, because they're not going to get to use it. And again, nice and simple. We're just going to attack. Now I can put a card back with Omega here if I really desire. My opponent can actually misc here for a baby Ceratosaurus. So I'm going to go ahead and just put Conductor back into their deck. That way they can't activate Miscellaneous Orus effect for anything but Enamored Archosaur. And they can't special summon Conductor because they don't have the resources to do it. Alright, play your tone. Let's see what you got. Play through this nonsense. Again, this deck isn't so much about winning. It's more about breaking your opponent's spirit. And their spirit, I believe, has been about adequately broken. Ooh, prosperity. So this is going to be another really fun event for us. Because now if our opponent searches out a card like Oviraptor that searches cards, all I'm going to tell you is that it's not about to end well for them. Oh my god, please take the Fossil Dig. Watch this nonsense right here. They might take the Lightning Storm. Conductor's dead. If they take the Fossil Dig here, Lightning Storm. Okay, wasn't expecting that. But this is fine. This is literally just making our Gamma live. And you know what? I do feel like drolling here. Just in case, since they took that, there's a chance they have something that searches in hand. Going for the spells and traps. Okay. So they have a play that they're trying to make right now. I don't know how well that's gonna work for them after Droll and Lockbird. Ooh, Anima! I always play around the relinquished Anima, and I can't believe it's actually paying off for once. Alright, show me what you got. They don't run the normal relinquish! This is Millennium's Iris Restrict! This actually doesn't do anything for them. Okay. So, my opponent did all this nonsense. And this is what I mean this is a villain's deck. They did this so I can't hand trap their Enamored Archosaur. Oh, you don't even have anything. Well, looks like they don't control a dinosaur. God, I feel like a piece of garbage playing this deck and I don't want to stop. It's so fun. Normal summoning Misk. Got to be honest with you, did not see that one coming. That one caught me a bit off guard. Alright, Pentastag. This is fine. Let our opponents crash over this, because this is now going to proc Wind Pegasus, which is going to let us shuffle back the Pentastag, and our opponents, again, just going to... Oh, man, I feel mean. Alright, well, our opponent seems to be getting too much use out of their extra deck cards, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of them for them. Just in case they want to resummon that Linkuriboh or some shenanigans like that. I don't really think I'm about that life. And now we're just going to go ahead and attack. Attack with Nexus first. Just to get a bit of damage in. And finish the game off with Ecclesia. Yo. This is where you give your villain monologue to really just to tie the match together since your opponent didn't get to have any fun. And that is the might of pure Dogmatika. Again, this is a strategy that can be insanely good against most of the meta if you just take the time to learn the deck and you play very, very patiently, because again, this is like a pure control deck. So it's all about being patient and using your resources at the right time. And again, it's just a really, really cool deck because I absolutely love this archetype. And even though, and a lot of people like give it flack for not being very good pure and just being a sheer engine, but this deck's awesome. As soon as the new ritual support comes out for this deck, this is basically everything I'm going to be playing all the time. Even though that even with the new ritual support, this variant is better. I just like ritual monsters. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned a little something about this archetype if you're looking into it. And hopefully you enjoyed the new audio, which should be silky smooth. Well, not yet, because I still need to fix the mic, but I had to get this recording out. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. This has been Rojas, signing out.